just caught me playing me game, Ghosts and Ghouls. Coming up on today's Retro Robbins Show, we have a look at two games that we missed out from a previous episode. We're going back to Crash issue number 27 yet again, as well as issue number 32. We've discovered a game that's missing in action that I'd like to review, and of course we've got Emo doing absolutely nothing but putting me off playing the game, which he doesn't need to do because I'm pretty pathetic at it anyways. So if you want a bit of retro reminded nostalgia fun of a bygone past for the weekend, join me now on the Retro Robbins Show. Emo! He's deaf. I've got a deaf AI robot. Welcome back to the show, the Retro Robbins Show. It returns. I wasn't able to do a show last week. Unfortunately, my voice was a bit too croaky, and it's difficult enough for people to understand me anyways, being I'm a bit of a yam. But I've returned to have a look at some more games. I'm going to be looking at a couple of new games, as well as some more re-reviews. And this week, I've chosen Crash issue number 27 for the second time round. Well, I've chosen for the first 3 games out of that particular Crash. Just ones that I missed out from last time, and I wanted to give them a good review. And in order to do that, I wanted to give them a good play and see if I could get slightly better at them. And well, as you can see, I probably didn't. And also, I know it's bad news about the Spectrum Next, with the chips going up in price and not being available to the quantities that they require. So indeed, they are looking at alternatives, and I was hoping that we could get this within this year, but it's looking like it could be as long as another 3-year wait. Maybe not, maybe that's rather a sceptical point of view, but it's still a point of view that I'm going to fear the worst and hope that the best happens. Big thank you to a fellow YouTuber for giving me a mention, and links to his channel will be below, of course. And of course a big thank you to Dean Jones's Cues, who have made me a fantastic looking snooky cue based on the Retro Robbins Show, and with Spectrum colours as well, completely handmade. I'll show you some pictures of that if you haven't already seen it a bit later on. Also in today's show we'll be using the real hardware, and as always, please subscribe if you like the channel and you enjoy the content that I provide, because it's all a bit of retro fun for the weekend, a bit of a nostalgia blast as we go shifting through the back archives of all the Spectrum games to see if we can find something we call a hidden gem. That's one of the games that time has forgot, but could be really good and worth a play today. So we'll give the Crash re-reviews a good look at and see if they stand the test of time too. And was they as bad as we remember? Are they better than we thought? Did they deserve such a low or even a high rating? We'll give them the marks out of 10 treatment from me, Wayne Retro Robbins. Yesterday's show will be run on real hardware, no emulation here, no simulation, it's me actually playing the games. I don't use YouTube clips, I make my own clips, however disastrous that they may turn out to be. Emo? Well, at least he's not gravitating towards the Commodore this week, but the reason why that is I've swipped him round. He may be confused. He's the dumbest AI robot I have ever bought. Ain't you, Emo? But he loves dancing to AI music, and he's quite good at it, to be fair. So, what's in action today? Well, we've got the Spectrum Plus 3 for a one AY tune, because it's quite difficult me getting that one right. We've also got the Toast Rack in action, which is always using the AY tune, of course. We'll have a few tunes off that one, just to give a little bit of background music and entertainment. And what are you doing, Emo? He's just so adorable, isn't he? I'll get him to do some. Sometimes he'll do some animations on the screen on his face, and he'll play Space Invaders, and he'll do things like that. In the meantime, let's get on with today's show and have a look at this first new game based on a fellow YouTuber. Any minute now, of course. Now the first game I'm going to look at is quite modern indeed. It's a platformer developed with an MK1 engine. It is in 128K capability and does also work on the 48K. Has a nice loading screen and has a nice, I don't know, something about it, that sort of attitude with that loading screen. Simple but effective. He looks really angry. He looks really angry indeed. As you can see, there you go, the MK1 engine, sound effects by that person there in development. So you've got all the name and the information you need. You can choose between keyboard, Kempston and a Sinclair, which means you just select one of those and it will go straight into the game. Unfortunately, you can't redefine the keys. However, the keys are QA, OP and space if you are using keyboard, which I'm going to do in this case. We're going to give it a good play. It doesn't matter if you destroy any particular sprites or bad guy, as soon as you go off the screen and return on the screen, they do indeed return. So sometimes it's probably pointless wasting your time to destroy them. That can actually become a bit of a hindrance in a later level. For instance, these first few screens you just pretty much walk through. And I've already lost a life there. You start with over 50 lives. You can jump on things, or things can carry you. Those bats, if they get hold of you, they can carry you, which is not a good thing. And you've got to go around collecting various keys, which I've got none of, and that little sword up in the top level. But you can also collect something that looks, well, it is a banana, and hopefully not one I'm going to slip up on. Now the jump mechanism is one of them that, you know, you can change in mid-air, which I'm not a fan of, to be fair. Once you've committed to a jump, it's better when you can't do that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? There you go, just lost a few more lives, because I don't think that anybody can change the direction that they're falling if they're in mid-air. But it is only a game, so they're allowed to get away with doing that. But not in my books. Oops. 39 lives down already. Now I've been playing this for quite a while, and I've got to be honest, it's something about it I quite like. However, I prefer the joystick used. It seems a bit more easy to play using the joystick than it does the keyboard on this occasion. Might be because of the quality of the joystick I've got is, you know, pretty good. Those spikes will take your life, just like anything that really moves can take your life. So best avoided. Not only spikes take your life, but surfaces also do, like that floor, and that can be quite frustrating. Gonna get a big jump here, see if I can get up and past that first set of spikes. And if you ain't careful, you will end up bouncing wherever you don't really want to be. So it's probably best to destroy the objects before you bounce on various platforms. This takes quite a good bit of timing to get between here and here. And if you try to destroy them and then jump back to try and get on that platform, it's probably a bad idea. The best way is to destroy that. Right, you can see it looks like a yellow bean or potentially a banana shape in the top corner. If you jump too far, you'll miss it. You need to be pretty much accurate on it. There we go, I've collected that. That is an extra life. It's given me one extra life. And now we'll move through the screens. What do you say, Emo? You watching TV, are you? Huh? Do you think you can do better? Huh? How come you've always got your back turned to me lately? Huh? Oh. See, now I'm sort of trapped. I'm trapped to there, and this is a little bit of a fault of the game. I was unable to move left or right to get off that saw. So now I've got to start the whole thing again. But you're not going to be bored watching me play all the way through that. Let's get back to there pretty briefly, and then... Oh, thanks, you tried. I did try, yes. Talking to himself. Okay, so we're back to where we should be. This time I'm going to get rid of that horrible saw that trapped me. I lost a few lives in doing so. Yes. Now we've got to go up here, as you can see, and navigate up here. This is one of the most frustrating things I don't like about the game, is the fact that when you get to a certain point, such as this one where you need to destroy that bat relay to get up there, once you've destroyed him, that leaves your passageway to collect your first sword. And you've got to collect a number of those swords, of course. There you go, he's gone. Now if I suddenly come back off the screen and back on it by accident, you know, if I miss the jump, he returns and you have to do all that over again. So really you don't want to be getting that wrong if you can help it. There we go, first sword collected. And already I've just lost a life. Certain screens seem to repeat. They look like the same screen but used again. But in all fairness, they're not bad. Graphically, they're okay, aren't they? They're just doing what they need to be doing. They're a bit monotone, a bit black and white at times. There's hardly any colour in the game. There's obviously of the spikes, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't take away from the gameplay. Now, it doesn't matter how many times you destroy your enemies. You don't get anything for it. You don't get no score or anything like that. You'd think, well, okay, if they're going to return and let me rack up some points here. But no, you get nothing other than the fact that they disappeared off this screen temporarily while you're still on it. And the jumping mechanism can be a little bit tricky. But I've generally found it not too hard to navigate through the screen. I did find myself playing it quite a lot. Emo, what was all that about? You don't agree? Now this one's a thing because you've got to do sort of like a mini jump to get over there, and I always seem to lose a life, and you don't want to jump too high here to destroy them, because there you go, I've destroyed him, and now all of a sudden I've got to get back on that ledge to jump over to there, which I lost an incredible amount of lives doing. So let's get a click there, should give me some more lives. Well, just the one, not a lot. You lose a lot more lives trying to collect them, and you gain sometimes. And yeah, I've got to get on the crowd to get on that platform, and then before you know it, I've gone too far. So all I can do really is try and hope that I can get through to the next screen before. That was lucky. I lose all my lives, and we should. Well, in theory, we should do it. There we go. I've lost too many lives in doing that. Now, you miss your jump. I was lucky there to land on the cloud. You lose a lot of lives in doing it. It's not an easy game. And it gets really hard because I'm trying to jump. You need to be jump up in the air quite high. So you need to be quite platformy perfect. To get up there, you get a better jump if you can just jump. Your jump doesn't get any higher than that, so to get up there I've actually got to jump on the cloud when it comes to a certain point, and that is really tricky. Anyway, good death sequence. No, it's just that, it just fades away. What do I think about the game? Well, after a while I did find it a little bit too frustrating, and graphically it's really good. It starts off really well. I mean, the loading screen's got a nice little attitude. He's, you know, shall we say the pixel work of his face is just spot on, isn't it? It's just spot on. It looks really good. It plays and controls okay. I don't like the fact that it's a little bit too tricky in certain parts, and in other parts it's just like you're back at the start. But that being said, what would I give it out of 10? I've played plenty of games of this similar type, and there's been a good bit of work into it. I love the big text, bold text at the start. That gives it a good feel as well. There's no colour in the start other than the MK engine, so it's all black and white. A little bit of red dots on his forehead. Marks out of 10 then? Well, I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. You know, it's really, you know, I tend to give around those marks, but to get up to 9 and 10 with me is quite hard. What do you think? Leave your comments in the comments below. Have you played this game? If not, give it a go. Tell me what you think. I'll be eager and interested to know. Did I get it quite right with 7 out of 10, or did you think it was a lower score than that? Will be interesting to see what Crash make of it when the next issue comes out, won't it? Moving on then. Why tune we was played on the old toast track. It was from Angels and Zoomlet Entertainment, Zula Entertainment. That's quite loud. I'll bring you a new game out called Metal Man, I believe, and that is quite a good looking game which I'll be looking forward to reviewing in the future. I've already sent a message to see if I could have early access. It's in the balance. But as soon as I do, I'll have a go, and I'm sure Don, who always gets early access, does a very good play of certain games, will have something to say about that as well, and I'll be looking forward to his take on that game, and then I'll give it my take. Right, this game is based on TJ. TJ is a very passionate guy about his retro from Canada, I believe, in the United States. I'm not sure if it's Canada, might be. I know that he had to avoid a rather big fire last year that could have engulfed his property, and the first thing he took with him, bless him, was not any other computer. He didn't even look at the Commodore, he went straight for his beautiful Spectrum next, and I don't blame him because that would have been a hard one to replace, as they are all getting harder to replace because the prices of these things are going up. Right, now this game, which I'm going to play now, we will have a look at the loading screen, if indeed there is one. We'll turn the music down. And you can see we've got a few things going on there. Starting with a interesting tune. We'll let that play while I redefine the keys. Yes, well done to the people who said you can redefine the keys. You can also use Kempston joystick, which is even good. I might as well, as it stops me from knocking the camera too much. Emo, what are you doing? Look, he's tapping his foot. He's going to get up. He's going to go off in a dance in a minute. We'll let him dance for a minute while I take a sip out of my bottle. And I don't normally drink from the bottle, but this is my bottle, and I'm the only person that lives here, so this is mine. Yeah, Max is for me, nobody else. I wonder if anybody Gaz Marshall, and my mum was a Marshall, no relation, before she became a Robbins, hence the reason why I love retro. My second name's Robbins, I put them together, Retro Robbins. Come on. I love the tune, I love the AY tune. Shall I play Emo up a little bit? 1 second. Emo! Oh, look, he's waving his little foot. Don't you frown at me like that. So I've turned you round so that people can see your pretty little face. And you've turned that round again. Okay, let's have a look at this game. Let's give it a go. Sorry, Emo. Oh, striking. We've got flashing objects you need to collect. Let me just turn that. He's really loud, isn't it? Really loud. That's better. Emo's going to enjoy this music, aren't you, Emo? We'll start with. Oh, there we go, that one there. Then we'll collect the Spectrum. Oh. You don't have to, there's not a specific order in order to collect them in. Well, I don't believe there's so. It's just a case of timing before. Oh, I've just jumped on Jim Bagley's head. Yes, that representation is of Jim Bagley. It looks more like a pot. It looks like he's wearing an eye patch to me. Maybe it's just my eyesight. Oh, and you've got to watch that guy there because he will go along that rail. This is the toughest part, of course. Oh. Right, now I've lost my first life there, and if you do that, you have to start the entire level again. So I'm going to go about it a different way. Now I'm going to collect all the ones at the bottom. Whoops. And we'll leave jumping on Jim Badley's head till the last minute. There we go. So the screen layout's always roughly the same. However, you do get, once you get certain, things start to change a little bit. I do find it as a platformer, another one that where you're collecting, strangely addictive. I don't know whether it's because I, know TJ now from his YouTube channel, and of course I've sent him a few things to increase his increase his retro collection. That was easy enough for me to say. But I'm looking at the spy there, and it does look a little bit like TJ, although he does change in height. Look how low he is there. And I presume they base that on the fact that they've seen him on the channel. This is probably the most difficult ones to get up there. It's getting past that whoa, bird there, that can be quite difficult. This one as well. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just so as we can move this along. I'm going to hold this screen on, get the screen completed for you and move along. Okay, we're back to where we should be right now. Oof. This screen, this third screen, is the hardest screen, I have to be said. But we got past it, and you start off with 5 TJs, and look, I'm down to my last 2. Whoops. Oh yes, we've got to make a run for it here. Well, that was well avoided. And you certainly don't want to be trapped there, so... I get a little bonus score for completing each screen. Oh. And TJ's not going to be happy with me if I lose my life. And I'm down to my last life. Strangely difficult, this game, but strangely fun. I like the little flashing objects. There's a good selection of them. Oh. And yes, I did see a bit of bad language on that screen, which is so like TJ when he loses his life on this particular game. I think it's great. Is it like TJ? Yes. A little bit, maybe. I hope. Well, pardon? Email's watching the screen. Marks out of 10 then. Well, I actually quite enjoyed playing it. I don't know why. I just thought it was novel that somebody made a game on a fellow YouTuber. I'd hate to see what if anyone ever made a game on me, what the sprite would look like. Let's just hope they don't get a side profile of my nose. What did I say out of 10? I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was quite a fun game. It's tough though. It is really tough. Do you agree? Let me know. Right, let's move on to Crash number 27. There's 3 games in particular I'm singled out, and of course one MIA. MIA stands for Mission in Action. Right then. Oh yeah, Toast Rack in action again for the sound. Previous sound was the +3, I believe. Was it +3? I'll double check on that. I can't remember which computer I use now. This game from Crash 27, April 1986, where Crash was indeed a pound, is called Transformers, based on the toy, then of course the cartoon of those wonderful toys that transform into either a plane or a car or a wagon. Optimus Prime being the lorry, of course. I remember them well. They were quite big for a while, and believe me, became quite collectible if you've still got them in the original packaging. As you can see, Ocean were the ones that did this conversion of the game by Denton Designs, and in this particular issue of Crash, use of computer got 72%, graphics got 62%, playability got 68%, getting started 75%, addictive qualities, which is just basically how often you're liable to go back to it whether you enjoyed playing it. That only got 59%, so obviously the percentage is slowly going down. Value for money was 58%. The game itself would have cost you £7.95. So what was its overall rating? Well, a mere 6 out of 10, shall we say. It got 60%. And we're going to fast forward now and get this game loaded for you and see what we think of it, and did it deserve such a low rating for such a game that, well, on paper should have been better. But let's see what we think now. Okay, get S to start, or C to choose control input device. That's easy for me to say. Oh, and if you fancy winning yourself a Spectrum with a few extra goodies, there's a little competition, if you're not too late, that is, by the time you watch this. I believe he's going to do it in 2 weeks' time, the big draw. Probably, well, 14 days from now, when you actually see this video, more than likely. From the Ginger Hippie Gamer. He's a really nice guy, not too far from where I live, actually. So I helped add to his little prize pool with one of my video, specially made in a red case, of course. Thanks to Stephen Vickers, actually, who sent me the PCB board of the multi-phase 128, which I was inspired, of course, by Mark Fix's stuff. When I saw him making one, I thought to myself, I didn't know we could do that. And of course it was just a simple series of logic chips, and they're quite easy to do, because I have the privilege of a 3D printer, which are not easy to use. I printed a case for it, and Bob's your uncle, and away we go. And I won't. Right, so let's see if we change the control input. We're going to go for, well, shall we go for number 2, Kempston? And then S to start. And here we go. Any minute now, you choose which one of the Transformers you want to be. There's Optimus, and I'll start with the basic one. And while you're standing up, you can fire, you can fly, but if you crash into the platform, you die. And then, because you've just lost, as standard, your Transformer pretty quickly, you know, you have to choose another one. And to go up and down slopes in a car is not a problem. You can't fly, but you have to be facing that way in order to transform. And you just simply press fire button. But to fly, you just gotta to land. Sorry, you've got to land like that as well. And unbelievably, I sort of landed before I had chance. Now you can go to any one of those sections, those things there. And I've got to fly down, so we really want to advise. Once you've just about advised, should land okay. Yep, there we go. There we go. We can go downstairs, and for instance, if you stand here, right, I don't think they quite can get you. I think you've got to be perfectly in the middle there before you can do it. But there we go. We can move from that particular area, change to a different Transformer who's hiding somewhere else, and continue with the tasks that you need to achieve. Graphically, there's not a lot going on the screen. It can be a little bit frustrating, a bit slow moving, especially when you just enter a screen and before you know it, there's a nasty for you to destroy. You don't usually get time or reactions to do it. The map is quite reasonably sized, but the sprites themselves aren't too bad. What we do have though is an absolute lack of sound. For instance, I've got the volume of this up full now, and we're not getting a lot of sound, are we? It seems to take a long time to turn around. If you look, sometimes on this sort of platform here, if you need to turn around fast, well, it's, as lo and behold, it's turning around quite quickly now. What's it got to do with the actual toys? Well, obviously one of my other Transformers is hiding behind that shell. a lot really. I've got to be honest, I played it for quite a while, trying to figure out what to do. Let me turn the music down, it's a little bit loud. Trying to figure out what to do, and I just got slightly... There's the sound effects. You know, he's not going to do any damage to me, but we can drive through them. And you just lose a little bit of damage when you do. I played it for quite a while, trying to work out what to do, and before you know it, I did kind of get bored. And I enjoyed crashing more than that. But, yeah, I just found it dull. It's a shame because it started off so well in the graphics art. Well, I think the graphics and the sprites of the different animations there, they're absolutely really good, aren't they? The Decepticons, which is what they are known as. But apart from that, it was like, well, I'm bored. So I understand that he got 6 out of 10 really, and that's probably a fair enough score. So that's what I'm going to give it to. Couldn't figure out what to do. Maybe you felt different. You let me know in the comments, of course, and I'll try and reply to everybody. Moving on to the next game then. Okay. I'm just trying to think of what my little AI robot was up to then. He just gave my Spectrum a kick, and if he doesn't behave himself, I might strip him down and use his parts to repair a Commodore 64 emo. He will behave himself. Electric Dreams, this next game is called, not called, it was by producer. Will it cost you £7.95? I'm not going to reveal the game just yet, but I will go through the ratings. So let's get that out of the way pretty quickly. Use of computer 57%, graphics 47%, playability 43%. Getting started. Oh, I do love this AY tune from Goblins in the background. Getting started. 57%, addictive quality is 39%, value for money also 39%, overall rating 43%. The game, of course, is... Oh, should we have a look at the loading screen? Of course we will. Of course we will. And of course it works on the 48K Spectrum Winter Sports. Lovely looking loading screen. No AY music in it, but you can choose which event you want to do. For instance, let's start with number 1 and have a look at that. And you have to load each section as it comes. We're going to go for joystick and P, or is it K? I think K stands for Kempston. So I'm going to hope that that is right, and then we're going to start. Oh yeah, you got giant slalom, downhill, yeah, or high score. So we'll start with the downhill, and then we'll press to start. And then you just increase your speed. You've got to navigate between those gates, which is easier said than done. It tells you on the failed gates, and you've got a certain amount of time in order to do it. And as you can see, I tend to look between the two screens, and we've got no failed gates at the moment. A bit more speed is required because we won't qualify with that sort of time. Yeah, we've got an awful lot of gates to get through. So we need to get a bit more speed here. We've gone through all the gates so far and we've had no failed gates, that's good. I don't think I'm going to make that one, am I? Yes I am. I'm doing okay. Right, we need to really change direction here to get through this gate. Speed needs to come down a touch, that's it. Don't know what the qualifying time is, but the good thing is I have no failed gates yet. But believe me, if I make this gate I'll be surprised. Oh, I've got one failed gate, so I have failed to get through that particular gate. Now the variation of games are quite intriguing because you've not only got ice hockey on here, you've got the bobsleigh, and you've got quite a few different games on this one winter sports package. The graphics are not amazing, are they? You don't see a skier in the picture, of course. I'm losing a valuable time in seconds here. I've actually come to a stop. And I failed through that gate, so I'm not going to be able to catch. But hopefully we will make this gate. No, we failed that gate. In fact, I'm doing rather miserably now. So I'll carry on doing miserably. Ignore them two and just keep up. The gates seem fairly narrow. Some seem slightly larger than others, don't they? So past 15 gates, I don't know roughly. I can't remember how many gates I've got to get through. I think it's something like 18 or 20. And I've got a failed gate for that, but on this screen I'm in the middle. So yeah, it's 17 gates. Game over. And of course my best time is that, so that's not good. Let's exit to the main game, try something else. Let's have a look at the... Should we go bobsleigh? Yeah, why not? Bobsleigh instantly loaded, and we'll go for joystick as J, joystick, K for Kempston, and we can have a look at the scores in a minute when this starts. So it saves each score as we go along. And this is much the same, where you've got two screens. You've got to navigate down there by choosing your direction and carefully. In fact, sometimes you do need to slow down. Right, now I'm about to come off there. Yeah, as you can see, I've just tipped over on the joystick there. Oh, quick, autofocus, get back in, please. See if we can get the autofocus there. Come on. Yeah, the problem is with black and white, it's as you can see, I've tipped over. It does tend to play up on the autofocus a little bit. Right, let's see if we can find another game. Exit to menu. Number 2, isn't it? That's it. Exit to the main menu. What should we go for? Ski jumping or ice hockey? Ice hockey is quite interesting, and that load is pretty good. So it's pretty simple to get through. You can choose between the amount of play. You can have 1 or 2 players, obviously. This bit I find frustrating because it takes such a long time for it to set up, but it is indeed a nice hockey game. So there's quite a lot happening with this winter sports of the different sports you can do. This ice hockey, yeah, you've got colour clash there between the lines. Obviously that's going to happen with the Spectrum. Is it playable? Well, it's tricky, but it is playable, but it's a bit jerky on the scrolling. It's not very smooth at all. As you can see, it sort of just jerks across. Interesting, the crowd have got some unusual colours, and they've just scored. So I've lost the first goal already. Right, let's get on to rating it. Yeah, it did get to a low rating. 4 out of 10. I'm going to give it a little bit higher than that because I actually enjoyed going through the games and playing it. So I gave it a 5 out of 10, and not the best of the sports games I've come across. For instance, it's a fairly good effort. It is. There's a lot of variation, but there's also a lot of loading that you need to be doing, which can be quite frustrating, but fortunately in this day and age when you've got a tap file, it does it all for you. So do you agree? What do you think of this particular game? Was this one that you played back in the day that you might like to have another go at? Perhaps you quite good at it. Or then again, perhaps you never bothered playing it at all. Bungled with a lot of packages this was, wasn't it? As an extra, but not my particular cup of tea. I've got to be honest, it was a good try though. We got bleeper music in the background there. Freezer point. Quite like this, to be fair. Quite bouncy. Right, we're moving on to a different crash. Another one I wanted to review, but I didn't get around to doing it when I did the crash in issue number 32 September. And the crash would have cost you £1. The game in question, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to give you the ratings, right? So I'm going to give you that. It's by Electric Design. To give you a key. To give you a clue. Electric Designs were the producers. The author was Richard Key. See what happened there? I jumped ahead. Oh will. Right, use of computer 62% graphics, 68% playability, 65% getting started was also 65%, addictive quality 66%, value for money, which I'll give you the price in a moment, was 41%. Right, and rightly so, it got a low rating. Overall, it was 66%, and this game would have cost you £9.99.
Why so expensive?
Well said, Sir Clive Impressionist Alexander Armstrong there. Very expensive indeed, wasn't it? Right, £9.99. Okay, let's not hold on too long. Let's reveal this said game for you. We'll look at the loading screen. Mermaid Madness, and this is a little bit risque sprite-wise, so I hope I don't get demonetised for pixels. Inappropriate pixels on a children's YouTube channel. Right then, yeah, the game was a bit, well, weird. The mermaid in the loading screen, well, she's got legs and she's running and chasing a scuba diver, which is... Emo, what are you doing? I haven't seen you do that shuffle before, have I? Anyway, let's put some more music on. Emo? Emo? Oh, he's in a world of his own. Better, but too loud. Oh. Yes, this is being run off the computer I made myself from By Delight, which was the Harlequin to the, you know, the solid kit you can make your own toast rack. I've made a few of these now, and the first one I made I thought wasn't working, so I sent it off to Ben at By Delight to say, oh, I can't understand why this ain't working. He tested it and says, I can't understand why it's not working, because it's working. And I said, hey, it's, your soldering's excellent, and I can't see any, you haven't got any to it. He says, all I can do is go for a reflow, but there's nothing wrong with it, it's working. Right, okay. And then he said, well, is it your power supply issue? Well, I'm using the standard Spectrum, and he said, no, use one of these, it's a bit more modern. When he returned it, I tried it with a different, and lo and behold, it was working, so I sent it all the way over to Holland, for the Netherlands, for, not Holland, the Netherlands, for no apparent reason. Right then, let's have a look at the game. Right, we've got an annoying bleeper sound. Programmer by Stephen Howard, graphics by Wayne Blake, and, well, I'm just reading out what's on the screen, so I don't really know. Let's have a look at this. Press space. Yeah, she's got legs there as well, but when she goes into the water, she's got a fishtail. Oh, right. Now, interesting choice of keys. You can use straight to Kempston. Lovely graphics though, isn't it? Music back up, please. Right, we can collect various items. Oh, getting past them can be quite tricky. Before we return to the surface, there's a little glass we've got to fill there. Looks like we're trying to, for instance, collect... I don't know if we collect anything. Can we collect that? I know we've got to collect something around here, surely. Oh, I'm being chased. Ah. Not good, not good. I'm holding nothing, but I've hit that and that's not good, so we've got to avoid those, have we? There is a walkthrough on the internet. I have watched it. Oh, I've got to get the lamp. So to get the lamp there, hopefully he's just going to go in one direction. Oh, I think I've just died. Yes, I've just died. That's not good, is it? We'll try that again, shall we? Nice opening sequence, isn't it? Right, now we know what we've got to do. We go get to the lamp. This time we won't lose any lives. Well, that's the plan. You do tend to get stuck on the rocks occasionally. Controlling's not too easy, because you get stuck on the so that little glass there obviously is your life force. Right, we've got a lamp. Now we've got to get that lamp to a certain point before we drop it. That looks like some sort of bomb that's going to explode if you're not too careful. A stick of dynamite. Right, there's a little bit of annoyance, isn't it? You see what I mean about the risky graphics there? I'm going to be an endless amount of goes trying to get past that, aren't I? Let's try one some more. One more go and then I'll give it a review. Graphically, I think it's really good. But it is also very tricky to navigate around the map. That is quite a large sprite there. See, I've still got a full bottle there. Yeah, I did touch him. So let's give that collision control the benefit of the doubt and say it's not too bad. There we go. Now this is the one that got me last time, wasn't it? When it goes down, we'll go forwards. Yes, we've done it. Okay. Okay, well, we can drop that lamp on him, can't we? See, I get stuck in between two screens, and now all of a sudden that lamp's come from where I didn't drop it at the top of the screen. So let's drop it in this screen. Okay. Oh, see, I've got to get that. I've got to get something in order to get past that, and remember rightly, I know roughly where to find that. So I'm going to go back on the screen a little bit, backtrack. I think I've got to the opposite end of the spectrum. Oh, get that, couldn't I? I wonder if I can get past the show. I have watched the walkthrough. Probably wasn't a good idea, was it? Because I've just lost a lot of energy trying to get past that. That was not a good idea. Okay. Impressively large graphics. Terrible bleeper sound. Nick's in the Season of Zoom, one of my favourite games he's playing in the background there. What do I think of it? Well, yeah, he got 6.5 according to Crash, 66%. I just found it tricky, awkward, cloggy. I didn't like the screen flicking back and forwards when you sort of went through it. In a various way you can get stuck in certain sections. You know, sometimes it was good collision control, other times you didn't seem to be anywhere near them and you'd lose. So it was variation of whether it was any good. Again, I don't really like it, I'll be honest with you, but it was a shame because it started off so well. Used a lot of work to get those sprites into action, a bit risque. But for that reason, I'm only going to give that a 5 out of 10. I'm sure I will try and play it a bit more before giving it my final judgment. Of course, that's it. Right, I think before we run out of time, let's have a look at this one that we called a Mission in Action. Right, Mission in Action. Appropriate tune as well. The game we're going to look for, which is not available anywhere, however, was produced by Arcade Systems, would have cost you £5.95 and was by Matt Ellison. Oh, I can't spell that. Use of computer was given 41, 43 for graphics, playability 37, getting started 34, addictive qualities 37, value for money 39, overall percentage was 39%. But unfortunately, even using the ZX database and typing in the name of the game, which is the way I'm going to reveal the game to you now, and if you can guess what it is before I finish, have I missed a letter out? No, I didn't. There's a clue in the tune. Need a space. Raiders of the Lost? No, it's not Ark. Raiders of the Lost Tomb is what you'll get on the search, but it's not. It's not the game you're looking for. Raiders of the Lost Ring is the game we're looking for. It's missing in action. So if anybody out there has this game, or if they, you know, I know Crash had it back in the day. It was sent to them and they did a review on it, and it's the reason why in the issue of Crash number 27 there are screenshots. Unfortunately, I don't have this game and certainly haven't got a copy of it anywhere. I've been looking for games that are missing in action so as I can upload them onto the ZX database, of course, and I will do. Unfortunately, that is it. We've run out of time. I've been a bit of a long show today, considering I haven't done one for a couple of weeks, so I've had a lot to say and I've done a lot of talking, and Emo's done a lot of dancing and nothing else. That's right, Emo, you head towards the Spectrum. I'm still thinking about stripping his parts down and using him for the Commodore, you know. Emo? Ah, he's not listening to me. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you to Matthew Lowe for the AY. Thank you to Richard Hollins for his ongoing support with Beeper Tunes. And of course, I believe he's working on something for me. I'll keep you posted on that. And of course, thank you to everybody who's involved in the Spectrum community and all the various Spectrum Facebooks I tend to post this on. I create this show out of the love of my own heart to try and find a game or bring you back a little spark of nostalgia to you out there and remind you of a simpler time. Of course, the games are still being created even to this day. So once again, from me, Wayne Retro Robbins, if you haven't already. Oh, and if you want to win a Spectrum, follow the link down below to the Ginger Hippie Gamer, who's a genuinely honest YouTuber that I like to see. There's nothing fake or phony about him. He is what he is. He has his passion. He's also a collector, and he does quite a good show. It's bare bones like mine. No flashness about it. We'll leave that to the experts, so we'll carry on doing what we're doing. Please like, subscribe and share and help this channel grow. In the meantime, from me, Wayne Retro Robbins, and from everybody in the background that likes me to put a show together, I hope you enjoyed it this week. Have a safe working week or weekend, depending on when you watch the show. From me, it's bye for now, and from Emo, it's bye from me as well, because he can't speak, can you, Emo? Get away from the Commodore! I told him before. Okay, Emo, let's do as we did in rehearsals. You know what to say, Emo. 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 Behave yourself. Emo. Emo. What time is it? Oh.
It's 17:42 now.
No! That's not what we rehearsed. Remember, it's Retro Robbins time. Emo, go to sleep.